Welcome along everyone to Sports Bitter. Always a pleasure to have you back on our screens and always a pleasure to come back your way, especially here on Sports Bitter to wrap up all the big sporting stories. We've got stories from all across the world. Starting off with Nigeria, who had an interesting result against Sao Tome and Principe at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium. We'll touch base with that result. What about another Nigerian, Israel Desanya, who was in action out there in Switzerland? We'll touch base with that story. What about what's happening in the USA as the Arthur Ashe came to a grinding halt? Novak Djokovic remaining number one in the world, lifting another trophy. So there's lots to look forward to here on the show, but always be a part of the show on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and of course on Facebook as well at SportsBitter. Always a pleasure to read from you, and send us an email if you've got any reservations or sponsorship ideas. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, we'll touch base with Falana Adeni, who's in the house on standby as always for all the big stories. Welcome back to the Sports Bit. Always a pleasure to be back on your screens, and always a pleasure to welcome back Falana Adeni on a nice day. Falana, it's good to see you once more, but international break, lots of activities across the other sporting events. But let's start off with the obvious, the elephant in the room, Nigeria. But first things first, are you all right? You good?
Definitely, I'm good.
Yep. Yeah. Super Eagles of Nigeria, 6-0 against Sao Tome and Principe. Total aggregate scoreline would leave you at 15-0. So pretty much one of our best outings in recent time. Is it a turning point for Joseph Pesero, or we just say it's Sao Tome, let's not get excited? Victor Osimhen hat-trick. He's now on the 20-goal mark, and if you know the record goal scorer for Nigeria, Rashidi Yekini on 37. Yeah. Can he break that record? Will he break the record? But it looked as if all our strikers, had a good day. Lookman also scoring. Good day for Nigeria at the office.
Well, definitely good day for Nigeria at the office. And it's Sao Tome. We should be beating Sao Tome. I thought we were going to have the home base Eagles, prosecute that game. That was my initial thought. But then again,
why?
Because it's Sao Tome. We shouldn't be breaking sweat for Sao Tome, for crying out loud.
We didn't break a sweat. The scoreline suggests you didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But then again, I think the coach would be delighted with the victory. He needed that victory, by the way. The first game since renewing his contract, even though we're yet to get the full details of his contract, which is the norm with Nigerian Football Federation. But all eyes is now on the AFCON for next year. Let's see what we're going to do in January. Let's see what's going to happen between now and then. The players that will be drafted into the team and the ones that won't be going. Of course, we didn't see Captain Ahmed Musa in the team against Sao Tome. I won't be surprised if I see him at the next AFCON. I really won't be surprised. But it showed that right now Nigeria look maybe arguably the best attacking squad. We have the best attacking players in the world of football right now. Arguably.
In the world of football, I thought you wanted to say Africa.
Maybe Africa. Because I don't think any country comes close to us, in Africa right now, attacking wise. When you have Victor Boniface, Victor Osimhen, Gift Orban, Samuel Chukwueze, Ademola Lookman, Moses Simon, and Taiwo Awoniyi. These are names that we've been hearing this season in the world of football. So in Africa, I don't think anyone comes close to us. So if we had, played anything less than 6-0, it would have been a disappointing result. Yeah. I know friends that actually played an over 5.5. If you know what I mean, and they were very, very sure that we should be scoring more than 4 or 5 goals against Sao Tome, and the boys didn't deliver at the end of the day.
Well, of course, Nigeria delivering 5-6 actually goals to nil against Sao Tome and Principe. We had already booked our place to next year's Africa Cup of Nations finals in Cote d'Ivoire. So congratulations to the boys once more for getting the job done and getting it done with a gloss and some style. Right then. Look, in the end, new contract, so that's done and dusted. Boys head back to their various clubs to prosecute their daily jobs, so to speak. But it's good to see that Victor Osimhen getting a hat-trick there. He seems like he's enjoying to come back to Nigeria every time he comes back to play.
Definitely.
And that's a great thing, isn't it? Let's touch base with another Nigerian athlete, not a Nigerian footballer this time, but Israel Adesanya, who is always a delight, to us when we get a chance to watch him. And when it comes to Nigeria as well, he's always a delight around the place.
Always representing.
How does he say it? Omonimi, like
Omo
Naijanimi. That's how he says it. But it wasn't to be for him on the day out there in Australia, Sydney, Australia, to be precise. Look, in the end, it wasn't a knockout, but lost to Sean Strickland. And we all thought this was going to be another, easy fight. I didn't watch the game because I actually just went to sleep. I was like, you know what? When I wake up in the morning, Israel would be the champion once again. So that is what you call a real upset. How did that happen?
Well, to start off with, the fight wasn't really. We didn't have enough noise, around the fight, so it felt like something that was, cooked up, quickly for it to happen. And this is not the usual Israel Adesanya fight that we used to have. Nigerians will always talk about, Israel Adesanya fights a week, 2-3 weeks before then.
Because we're expecting to win.
Yeah, but this one felt like, okay, Israel is fighting. I mean, I think I got to know Israel. I knew I was going to fight Strickland, but I got to know the date, I think 3 or 4 days before then. And my friend, Korede, by the way, he stayed up late to see that particular fight, and he was disappointed. And he's a lover of Israel Adesanya, Usman Kamaru, and Anthony Joshua. So it's always sad. It's just like how they probably spoil his day if they don't win their game, and most of their fight is always early hours of the new day, and so
especially when you're in Australia, other side of the world.
Exactly. So I think I don't want to throw out words that might not be true at the end of the day, but it felt like something that Israel probably wanted Strickland to win at the end of the day. Even when they announced Strickland as the winner, he was telling the fans around there that they should cheer Strickland up because they thought, you should win, but you're not winning, and that can be.
I tell you what. At that level, as a competitor, as a top pro, you have to be gracious in defeat. I think you cannot knock Israel for being gracious in the defeat. I honestly think that he was just surprised at Strickland's level, and that's the thing about professional sports. At the top level, you cannot take anything for granted.
Definitely.
Not to say Israel took Strickland for granted, but when you have something to hold on to, people want to challenge you and get it from you. So in the end, what I love about Israel is that he will be back.
Definitely.
He will
very sure.
He won't call into some hole.
I mean, Pereira is a clear example.
Fought him 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. There was a video of him actually partying the night after, a couple of hours after the fight. So tells you about the mentality on this kid, Israel Adesanya, who of course lost to unanimous score 49-46 at the Kudos Bank Arena in Sydney, New South Wales, Australia. So congrats to, of course, Sean Strickland. And of course, commiserations to our dear boy, Israel Adesanya. Anyway, all right then, let's take another break on the show, because when we come back, we would switch up the gears, touch base with some stories in the USA, because Novak Djokovic isn't slowing down anytime soon. Welcome back to Sports Bits, and if you just joined us, you've actually missed the first part of the show where we touched base with Nigeria's massive 6-0 win over Sao Tome and Principe. So congrats to the boys for putting an extra gloss on what was a job well done already. Qualified to the next year's Nations Cup in Cote d'Ivoire. So pleasure to see the boys back in action. Well, another Nigerian who was in action over the weekend, albeit in Australia, was Israel Adesanya, the boy who says Omo Naija ni me, actually lost his UFC middleweight belt to Sean Strickland. Quite an upset in many ways, but that's what the sports does to you. Top level sports, you can win some, you can lose some. So congrats to Sean Strickland, and commiserations to our dear boy Israel Adesanya. He'll be back, that's for sure. And that's a promise as well. Anyway, Falan Adeni is still in the studio for what is a riveting conversation. Let's pick up the pace, Falana. I hope you're having a great time, because I am myself. Let's touch base with Novak Djokovic, who was at the Arthur Ashe Center Court at the US Opens. 24 Grand Slam titles, his 4th at the US Opens. Look, 10 Australian Opens. It's incredible what this guy can do, and he just keeps going. At the point, he had the game set and match, but almost brought Medvedev back into it. first of all, was it a surprise to see Medvedev in the final, not Alcaraz? Or, in the end, how did that play out?
Yeah, I think Carlos Alcaraz and Novak, they've built a kind of rivalry, between them. At the French Open, Novak, knocked him out in the semi-final, and then they met at the Wimbledon final. Carlos Alcaraz won that 1. Then they met at the Cincinnati, Masters a couple of weeks back, with Novak beating Alcaraz, and Novak telling him that, guy, you this young boy, don't you get tired, because he really dragged the old man. I mean, and we were looking at the final between, Carlos, and Novak, but Medvedev decided to spoil the party for everyone, and we thought, okay, Medvedev, the last time Novak played at the US Open final, he played against Medvedev, and that was in 2021, with Medvedev winning 3 straight sets. I mean, I've not seen anyone outside Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal, beating Novak Djokovic in 3 straight sets. But Medvedev did it, in 2021, and we thought we were going to have a repeat, of that. Maybe not a repeat of that, but something close to that. But Novak, came for revenge, and he wasn't able to play at last year's US Open because of COVID-19 restrictions, but he's back now. And if not for Carlos Alcaraz that defeated him at the French Open final, he would have had a golden slam. We're talking about winning all the 4 Grand Slams of the year. It's just a shame that the next Grand Slam is his favorite course, which is the Australian Open. So already you've booked that one in his name, except injuries, stop him from participating at that. So for people that, you don't feel Novak Djokovic, thank you. We don't want you to feel him for us. Right. Leave him for us. He's our own goat. Yeah. You can stay with your.
I kind of get the sense that it's almost similar to the Messi and Ronaldo conversation. Here in Nigeria, you have people who are, sworn enemies of Novak because they like Rafael Nadal
and Roger Federer
and Roger Federer. Yeah. I get the feeling that Roger Federer is sort of like Ronaldinho or Zidane. Everybody kind of likes them.
Exactly.
But with Rafael Nadal, you have a section that like him and don't like Novak. Then you have a section that like Novak and don't like Novak, don't like Rafael Nadal.
I mean, 24 Grand Slams.
Yeah, 24 Grand Slams. The best part of that was to see him, look up to the heavens and commiserate with Kobe Bryant wearing the 24. And of course, if you followed both athletes, you can tell they were very close.
Definitely
in the day. So and it was actually on Kobe's birthday. So it was a nice bit of.
Probably the heavens were in favor.
Yep. I'm sure Kobe was looking down, and smiling at his old-time friend. So congrats to Novak Djokovic for winning another US Open title, 24. That's incredible number. Anyway, let's switch base to another kid who had dreams came true, actually. First teenager since Serena Williams back in 1999 to win the US Opens at the Flushing Meadows, as they popularly call it, Coco Golf. Remember the name because you might need to say it more often than not. 2-6, 6-3, 6-2 to claim her first Grand Slam title at the US Opens. And it was just a roller coaster of emotions. And, her dad was in the crowd, shedding a tear. And she's come a long way as well because
she has.
Over a top player like Arina Sabalenka. Talk to me about how all of that played out.
I mean, when you're playing against at the world #1, because that's what Sabalenka is right now. For someone that won the Australian Open, lost the French Open, lost the Wimbledon Open final. So you're playing against someone that has played 3 finals already this year. That can get into your head as a teenager. Your second Grand Slam final, the first one at the US Open. The pressure to want to deliver for the home crowd because. No doubt the home crowd were behind.
But it can work against you as well.
Of course, it can work. That was what I was saying. That the pressure to deliver might cost you, that game. And it felt like that when she lost the first set. I was like, okay, Sabalenka is going to take this one. But she found a way back into the game. Immediately she equaled her in set victory. I knew she was going to go for the jugular, and that was what she did in the third set. She had a dream, and now she's in a great company. Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Lars Stephens, and I think I want her to kick on from that, which is not something you see often in the female category.
Well, of course, a bit of consistency would help, but she's just a kid. She's 19, and we're delighted to share her joy, share her family's joy. Of course, always a pleasure to see a black kid in the US, always doing great stuff there. Of course, she had a final. First final was last year in Roland Garros. Couldn't quite make it. It was quite a bit of a heartbreak for her. But eventually, when you keep going in top sports and when you keep believing in yourself, not just in sports, in any walk of life, things can fall for you in pleasant places. So congrats to Coco Golf. Hopefully,
why you sound like a pastor?
She keeps going. Anyway,
we've
all got the higher calling. Anyway, let's get away from all that tennis stories. Let's touch base with another story which I've been eager to talk to you about. Speak to me about the international break, right? Let's finish up with that because not many people are a fan of international break because it takes away their darling football club. An Arsenal fan, had a good win. They were expected to kick on.
Exactly.
For United fans, especially off the back of that heavy loss, you would have want to see the team play again, go back and keep winning. But a couple of big stories coming out of the international break. One of which is Germany, who decided, we've had enough of this thing. With Hansi Flick, cut ties with him, and this has come after a run of poor results. Speak to me about how all of that played out.
I think Hansi Flick is one of the luckiest managers you ever find in world football. Winning the Champions League, the Bundesliga title, and of course, DF people come with Bayern. And when you do that, as German national, you almost get the job of the national team.
Right.
Especially off the back of Joachim Low, leaving the post. And ever since then, he hasn't really impressed, if we're going to be sincere with ourselves. Of course, Germany find a way to always qualify for major tournaments.
Yeah.
But when it gets to the tournament itself, they fail to disappoint. And ever since the World Cup, had a poor result at the World Cup. And the same team that probably knocked you out of the World Cup, played you again and friendly and losing 4-1 to them. 4-1. I think Germany, they pride themselves as a top footballing nation, not just a top nation, not just in sports alone. And for you to lose to Germany, not to Japan, not disrespect to Japan. Japan shouldn't be beating Germany mercilessly like that. Even if it's a tough game, it's still a slap on Germany's face. They're now losing 4-1. I think that was where they felt that you can't. And he came out in an arrogant way, saying that he's still the best man for the job. How can you be getting slapped here and there and still saying you are the best man for the job? I mean, I think he has a Nigerian root because we don't resign in Nigeria, even when things are not going well. We don't resign, but they helped him. Since you are not going to resign, we won't allow you to spoil things for us.
Yeah.
Just go. I think he will get a club job very, very soon. I'm very sure that within the German Bundesliga.
I get the feeling that he's probably thinking, I'm just gonna wait and see what happens with Bayern Munich. Maybe Thomas Tuchel gets fired.
Maybe, just maybe.
They're back on the phone to him. I think that Tuchel will get fired. I'm sorry. I think Tuchel will get fired.
I think he'll get fired.
Sometime before,
I think he'll get fired
before January, February. But not wishing anybody's job to go away because I like mine. So I want to keep my hot seat here on Sports Bits. But always a pleasure to touch base with international football. But I mean, just to wrap it up on the show today, is there a team that has impressed you a lot in the international break? Seen a couple of teams play. Lots of dead rubber fixtures. To be fair, we've seen Ronaldo still playing for Portugal. Bruno Fernandes scoring on his birthday. Spain had a good performance. The kid from Barcelona scoring a nice goal. What are the stories there? Is there anything that stood out for you?
I think it's the Spanish national team, winning 7-1 away from home. Spain international games. Qualifiers and friendly, they don't get to score, enough goals. But seeing them score 7 goals, was a bit of fresh air. Also, there's a kid in the Senegalese national team. That's another news that really, stood out for me over the weekend. I think at the age of 15 or 16, thereabout, the youngest player, to play in the Senegalese national team. So all of that, and of course the fact that the likes of Victor Boniface, Gift Orban, got caught up into the national team. That's another thing that really stood out for me. Over the weekend.
Well, of course, that kid's name you're looking for is actually Amara Diop, who's 15 years of age. 15 years became the youngest player to represent Senegal.
2008.
When the striker did come on against Rwanda. So that was a massive thing for him, and hopefully, he can kick on from there. Definitely. Senegal actually did what you actually wanted Nigeria to do. They played the Team B, so to speak, and they got a nice result there. But lots of events all across the world, and we were on a bird's eye view to catch all the stories for you. Trust we've done justice to all the stories. We're back for next week's Sports Space, which will come back with a big package, all the Premier League games back, Bundesliga, Serie A, and of course your Spanish La Liga fixtures, all on offer here with a slice of pizza. Faladeni, I want to thank you very
Always
much
a
indeed.
pleasure.
Many thanks to you, our viewers, and we will see you next week, same time, same place. Don't go anywhere. Enjoy the rest of your day, whatever you're doing. Do it in moderation. My name is Yubi, and so do one of it. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.